Look, man. See, these idiots are too fucking pussy to tell you guys what the fuck it really is. Here's the reason why this dumbass bitch decided to fucking go ahead and have sex with an inmate. We don't penalize hoes anymore. That's the fucking truth, guys. That's the main issue here. Niggas want to sit here and talk about, oh yeah, well, this has kind of been an uptick going on, and we don't really know, and bro, there's a public fucking emergency. Shameless plug. I talk about this in my book, Why Women Deserve Less. Okay? It's a short book, less than 100 pages, because women obviously deserve less. But the point I'm trying to make is simply this, guys. All right? The reason why you guys have seen an uptick in female prison guards having sex with inmates, or female teachers having sex with underage young males, and doing all the other fuck shit that they do, is because this is a part of a larger problem. And that larger problem is simply this. We've removed the institution of shame, removed the institution of religion, we removed the institution of the nuclear family, and we've removed the institution of common fucking decency. When you remove these things, what you allow is what I call a deregulated sexual marketplace. A deregulated sexual marketplace, guys, which is what we have now, is basically the concept where, as long as you have two adults of age, which these bitches can't even figure that part out, right? You can basically hook up with whoever you want. Man on man, woman on man, 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 woman, 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 man, man, whatever the fuck. All right? And what ends up happening when you have a deregulated sexual marketplace is you allow hypergamy to flourish. What is hypergamy? Hypergamy is the practice of dating and or marrying someone who is, how do I say this? Someone who is higher status than you, makes more money than you, okay? Women do this. This is their biological imperative. Their biological imperative is to get with the man that could provide them the most value. But we run into an issue, all right? And I talked about this a little bit yesterday with feminism, but what it used to be was a woman, if she wasn't a 304, she would basically be able to be assured that she can go ahead and find a man that would take care of her and provide for her. Now, is this man attractive? Is he tall? Is he charming? Is he handsome? Probably not. He was probably a regular ass dude that had a factory job that could support her, 2 kids, and have the nuclear family. This was the golden age of the United States in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. But this has pretty much evaporated thanks to feminism coming in and doubling the workforce and wages and inflation, all the other economical things that have basically destroyed this institution. But feminism is a silent destroyer of these things. Now, when you deregulate the sexual marketplace and you allow women to pick who they want to hook up with, etc., what ends up happening is women have a mating strategy that a lot of times doesn't serve them for the long term. When a woman is at her peak and she's attractive and hot, what does she do? Well, she's looking more for excitement. She's more spontaneous. She's looking for the bad boy, okay? And this methodology of mate selection was popularized by several prominent feminists. And before we even, fuck it. Need I say more? Anyway, this style of feminism, which encourages women to use their prime years to hook up with the bad boys while staving off the nice guy, has been extremely popular over the past several decades, okay? And basically, and Sheryl Sandberg is the one that kind of coined this, right? Saying, oh yeah, pick the bad boys when you're young and hot and then go ahead and find, the nice guy later on in life when you're ready to settle down. She's one of the main people that popularized this style of mate selection that a lot of women deal with now. So what ends up happening to get this itch fixed, right, where women are able to date these bad boys, is in their prime years they look for the bad boys. Whether it's a fucking criminal at a jail, she's a prison guard, or a student that she might take a liking to, that she might teach, or other inappropriate relationships. But feminism has basically deregulated all of this. Because now that we've given women choice to pick who they want, sexually and marriage-wise, what ends up happening is they go off their emotions. And this is why arranged marriages were a thing for so long. The reason why arranged marriages were so wildly popular for literally centuries of human existence is because we understand that the female mating practices that they explore and they utilize aren't necessarily productive to them having long-term security. Because the bad boys that they're aroused by are also not the same guys that are going to provide for them long-term for a stable fucking relationship. Bomb drop, yeah, that's how it fucking goes. You want to get with the commitment-full bad boy who's tall and good-looking? Well, there's a bunch of other women chasing him, and he's more than likely not going to want to commit to your dumbass. Why? Because since you live in a deregulated sexual marketplace and men are struggling to get women when a guy is able to actually be able to have the sexual market value to get a bunch of women, guess what he does? He decides to not settle down. He ends up having a bunch of women. So what ends up happening is the majority of the women start searching for a minority of the men. These minority of men realize that they have the value and the leverage. So what do? They don't fucking commit. Then these dumbass bitches go on fucking TikTok wondering why they can't find a fucking guy and why are men not committing and all this other shit. But they don't realize that what they've inadvertently done through feminism and idiots like Sheryl Sandberg, etc., right? These idiots, Gloria Steinem and Sheryl Sandberg, who quite literally are some of the biggest fucking contributors to modern feminism as we fucking see it today. What they did not foresee was that when you give women this enormous amount of responsibility and power to pick their mate, guess what happens? Hypergamy prevails. And when hypergamy prevails, only a small percentage of men are deemed for them, in their eyes, or worthy, and a majority of the other men are left out. This is why, since the beginning of time, 40% of men, only 40% of men since the beginning of time have been able to procreate, whereas 90% of women have been able to procreate. And this has been how it's been since the beginning of time. Before inventions, before technology, it's just human natural selection. When you leave women to their own devices, they go for the best that they can. But unfortunately, most women don't qualify for the best that they can. They might get them for a night, they might get them for a week, they might get them for a month, they might get them for a year. But they typically can't secure the guy long fucking term. Because when men have options, what do? They explore those options. Ta-da! And it's because it is so fucking difficult for men to get sexual access. So when a man is able to get sexual access, guess what he does? He goes crazy. Let's go ahead and go into a dream scenario. Many of you are familiar with this analogy. I might even use it tonight, but who fucking knows? But there's a fucking candy store. Yeah, we're going there, niggas. There's a candy store, right? In this candy store, women are allowed to enter at 18 years old, and they can have as much candy as they want, and they can stay in the candy store as long as they fucking want. However, the men are only allowed to enter this candy store when they're 35 years old, make $100,000 per year, have a career, stability, are in shape, etc. In other words, they have to become first, right? So, interestingly enough, the store, allowing the women in, there's a big fucking line of guys waiting to get in. Because these niggas gotta wait 18, 17 years to get in. Meanwhile, the women are allowed to get in at 18 years old. So what ends up happening is, every year, 3 to 4 of the men that fulfill these requirements are allowed into the candy store. When those guys get into the candy store, guess what happens? They go fucking nuts. They're swinging from the rafters. They're eating every single piece of candy they can fucking get. They're eating Tootsie Rolls that some bitch dropped on the floor 10 years ago. They're fucking eating candy corn, all the disgusting candy that you don't like, right? Candy corn, Tootsie Rolls, etc. These weird fucking candies from like the 20s and shit, right? They're eating all this shit. And the women are looking at them like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, dude, bro, chill. Like, relax. Why are you eating all this goddamn candy? And meanwhile, where they're going crazy, eating all this candy, swinging from the rafters and going nuts, the dudes that are outside waiting, they're 17 years to get into the fucking candy store, they're cheering them on. Yeah, woo, go nuts in there. Eat all that fucking candy. How does it taste, man? Let me know. Woo, cheering them on. The women are looking at the men fucking puzzled. Dude, take it easy. Why are you fucking going crazy like this? Like, slow down a bit. And one of the guys that busted ass to get into that fucking candy store, the top guy that made it in after waiting 17 years, he looks at the girl and says, hey, shut the fuck up. You can't tell me how many pieces of candy to eat when I had to work my ass to get in here. Your dumb ass got in for free. And that, my friends, symbolizes the fucking dating marketplace. Men have to fight tooth and fucking nail to get into the candy store and be able to enjoy a fraction of the power and leverage that women do. So when men are able to get in, and they have to get it through merit, and so few of them are able to get in, and they have a fucking candy store, you really think that they're going to sit there and pick their favorite candy? No, they're going to eat all the candy they can. Because they have to bust their asses to get in there. Women, however, don't respect it. Because they just got in for existing. You know, they start to go ahead and pick the aisles that they like. Some bitches like chocolate, some bitches like gummy candy, some bitches like fucking candy corn, some girls like Tootsie Rolls. Who knows? They start to stay in the aisles that they liked. But the men are going crazy and traveling all the different aisles. And the women ask them, why can't you just stay in one aisle? Shut up, bitch. You don't have to pay the fucking fee I had to pay to get in this goddamn candy store. I eat as much candy as I want. Rightfully so. That's how it should be. Because men are self-made fucking millionaires. Women, on the other hand, are trust fund babies. So I'll be fucking damned if a trust fund baby is going to tell me how to spend my money that I have to work for. Which is what? The ability to hook up with as many women as they want. Now, again, some of you guys might get mad at me, you tradcons that are watching right now, Ben Shapiro fans. Man, you're pushing degeneracy. Yeah. No, I'm just pushing natural selection. That's how it goes. I tell guys, you want to be monogamous, you took the God pill, you're a devout Christian, a devout Muslim, whatever it may be, fine. Exercise your monogamy. Be dutiful to your wife. Take care of your family. I'm not saying not to do that. But what I am saying is I want it to be your fucking choice. The problem with these cuck-servatives is they just try to sit there and make their necessity a virtue. The reality is a lot of these fucking tradcons can't attract women. They got their wife by the skin of their fucking teeth. She might not respect him, she might not like him, etc. I want it to be a choice that you make, not that she makes. I want you guys to be monogamous and do what the fuck you want to do because you want to do it, not because your fucking wife bullies you into submission, which is where 90% of you fucking tradcons actually are. Your wife wears the pants, she bosses you around, and she tells you what to do. That's what I don't want. I tell you guys to keep your sexual market value high, so you choose what you want to do. You want to be polygamous? Cool. You want to be monogamous? Cool. But the point is I want you guys to do it. So at the end of the day, anyone that complains and says, Myron, you push degeneracy. No, motherfucker. I push supremacy. And I want the man to be the supreme one. That's the only way women get in fucking line, man. And that's really the only way you're going to combat feminism. That's really the only way you're going to combat it. Women have all the power and leverage now. So the only way you're going to be able to combat that is by being higher status, high sexual market value, and your ability to replace her. That's all you could do. You can't fucking Sean Connery these hoes no more.
Falcon punch!
Yeah, next thing you know, you're going to end up in fucking jail. FBI, open up! So the only way you're going to maintain leverage, guys, is by being attractive, staying attractive, and letting other women want you so that your girl knows that you're the fucking prize. And guess what? That's a bill that's due every fucking day. Whether it's you going to the gym, working on your business, being more attractive, it's a bill that's due every fucking day. Mainstream society will tell you that it's not due every day, but it is. It really is. I don't want you guys to run around and fuck a bunch of bitches if you don't want to, but I need you to be able to, because that's the only thing women respect. But at the end of the day, you make the decision. I give you the tools, you decide what you want to do with them, okay? So for all these stupid-ass tradcons that don't understand how the sexual marketplace works now, where women are prioritizing bad boys over good boys because they're fucking retarded and they think it's 1955 versus 2025, I'm telling you guys what it really takes to be attractive to combat this fucking toxic, parasitic feminism that's been permeated by people like these fucking bitches over here, right? So you choose what you want to do. You're either going to be a victim of feminism or you're going to use it to your fucking advantage. But this prison guard situation is a microcosm of a way bigger problem. What it's done, as it's proven my point, that when women are left to their own devices, they make terrible, fucking reproductive and relationship decisions. Again. Wish I had a cup to slam so I could say again. It confirms what I've told you guys forever. And what all the religious texts confirm and all the different societies that have thrived are concerned. When you leave women to their own devices, they make terrible reproductive and relationship decisions. Because when they're in their peak years, they select the bad boys that emotionally stimulate them, and it's not until they're used and abused and older and their values dropped off precipitously that they finally wake up and realize, damn, I need to get a guy that's actually going to take care of me long term. But by then, it's too fucking late because they're stupid. This is why it's so important to have a father figure or a brother involved in the marital/courtship process. Because they can go ahead and assess the man properly and figure out if he's actually a good match for their daughter and or sister. When you leave women to their own devices, what do they care about? I want Kristen Gray. No, you're stupid. That's not how this goes. So anyway, that, my friends, is why we have the problems that we have. That, my friends, is why this chick ended up fucking this guard. Because her need for excitement and spontaneity and that bad boy image, which is personified in no other way than him being in fucking prison. I mean, that's the biggest fucking display of bad boyness, I guess. The guy's a fucking criminal in prison. That need for excitement overrode her common sense. And unfortunately, in 2025 and beyond, common sense is no longer fucking common, chat. So anyway, with that said, we've been cooking. We've been live for what? 5 hours, pretty much. I'm going to read some chats, and we're going to give you guys an after hours here shortly. Let me read some of these chats real quick. Like the video, guys. Do me a favor. If you guys are watching the show on Fresh and Fit or on YouTube, please give me a like. I really appreciate it, both on Fresh and Fit and on Myron Gaines X. I doubled up today. Gave y'all back-to-back streams on 2 different complex topics, fairly complex. We covered them boys,